Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rugby Magazine Fantasy Show. Obviously it's been a couple of months since I've done a video. Turns out lockdown and Christmas with two small children is really tough. I'm also in dire need of a haircut, but otherwise I hope everybody else's lockdown is going okay and everybody is safe and happy. Obviously I'm here to look forward to Gallagher Premiership round 7 with my key players and predictions, how the fixtures are going to fall and who the players to look out for in those games are. I'm going to kick off with my key players, and of course top of the list as ever is a certain Samuel David Simmons. Now he has been playing exceptionally well this season. He hasn't scored in his last 2 games. I'll touch on that a little bit later, but he is playing exceptionally well. Is he captain material? For me, always. I think the risk is always lessened for him. He's always guaranteed to put in a good performance. Next up on my list then is Willie Hines. Now Henry's predicting he is going to have a cracking weekend this weekend against Northampton. For Gloucester, they're playing at home at Kingsholm, and I think he's going to go very, very well. He's always a consummate fantasy performer. Finally, rounding out my list of 3 is Sales Faf de Klerk. Again, another player who plays exceptionally well week in, week out. The difference Alex Sanderson's going to make for Sale, I don't know, but I expect Faf de Klerk to play extremely well this weekend. So finally, moving on to my wild card for the weekend. Henry's thrown up a couple of interesting picks for this one, but I'm going to go with my gut this time and somebody I think is going to perform really well this weekend, especially with the backline they've got outside him. Ioan Lloyd is starting at 10 for Bristol, and I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Bristol at Ashton Gate against Bath, I think that's going to be an absolutely cracking game, and I think he is going to run the show. I think he's going to have an epic game week. And so moving on to predictions for the weekend, I'm obviously going to kick things off with Bristol against Bath at Ashton Gate. Now Henry has this one down as a 23-19 victory for Bath. I just can't see that. Bristol are not going to lose this one. Bristol have only lost 1 of their last 10 games at Ashton Gate, and I just can't see them losing this one. I think this is going to end up as a Bristol win. Key players to look out for in that game are Stephen Luatua, Luke Morahan and Ben Spencer. So next up is Leicester versus Sale, and Henry has this one down as a 35-20 win for Sale, and honestly I've got to go for Sale as well. I think they're going to come through and win this one. Leicester at home, it hasn't really made too much of a difference being the home team through coronavirus. The drop in percentages for home wins actually has been pretty phenomenal, and I think Sale are going to come through from this one. Sale have never beaten Leicester 4 times in a row in the Premiership and could do so with a win this evening. Key players to look out for in that one, obviously Faf de Klerk, AJ McGinty and Marland Yard. Next up then is Gloucester versus Northampton. Henry has this one down as a 24-23 win for Northampton. I'm going to go with Gloucester. I think Gloucester will come through this one. I think it's going to be exceptionally close, but I do think Gloucester are going to win this one. It's worth noting that Gloucester have recorded back-to-back Premiership wins versus Northampton at Kingsholm. They only managed 1 victory in 5 attempts against them at home before that. Key players then in that fixture are Willie Hines, Dan Biggar and Matthias Alemano, who is expected to go really well in the second row there for Gloucester. Next up then is Worcester versus Exeter. Now Henry has this one down as a 33-28 win for Exeter. Obviously I'm going to go with Exeter. I think Exeter will come through this. I don't really think Worcester will necessarily score quite as many points as Henry thinks at 28. But, you know, always a good game between those two sides. Sam Simmonds, as I said, is the leading try scorer in the competition at the moment, but hasn't scored in his last 2 starts. So is he going to break that duck today? Key players to look out for in that fixture are both of the Simmonds brothers and Sam Skinner, who is playing for Exeter. Next up then, London Irish versus Newcastle, a fixture I think everybody thought was going to be one of the relegation fighters for this season, but obviously that's all changed. Not least with Newcastle doing so well. Henry's got this one down as a 23-20 win for London Irish. Honestly, as I said earlier, coronavirus has played havoc with home advantage through this season, and Newcastle are going so well. For me, it's a Newcastle win. Newcastle are looking to record 4 Premiership wins on the spin against London Irish for the very first time. They lost to them in January 2016. Key players in that fixture are Sean Robinson, Nick Phipps, and of course the Scorcher, Ollie Hassel-Collins. And finally, rounding out the weekend is Wasps versus Harlequins. Now Henry has this one down as a 39-21 win for Wasps, and I'm inclined to agree with him. I think Wasps are going to come through and win this one. Change of the guard at Harlequins, obviously, with Paul Gustard going out, and I think Wasps will come through and win this one. 5 of the last 6 Premiership fixtures played out between Wasps and Harlequins have been won by single-digit margins, which obviously goes against what Henry's predicting there, but those of the last 6 meetings have seen both teams record 3 victories apiece. Key players in that game, Thomas Young, Stephen Lewis, and of course, Harlequins 10, Marcus Smith. And obviously a little bit of food for thought for this game week. We have increased free transfers to 2 throughout the duration of the coronavirus pandemic. For exactly this reason, obviously the England players are leaving, they're going into the England squad and they have to remain in the England squad, and it's obviously had a little bit of an impact on people's squad, so those 2 free transfers will hopefully make a difference. But bear in mind, you still have 5 transfers that you can make through the course of this weekend. Now, there's obviously a 20-point penalty for each of the players that you transfer out above those 2 free transfers, but don't worry if it means that you're going to make that back. If you know that you're going to have a player, somebody like Willie Heinz or Sam Simmons that you can bring in, or Faf de Klerk, for example, that you can bring in that you know are going to make a lot of points, you're still going to get a return on that investment. It's better to make it now and not be without your England players for the duration of the international campaign than not suffer those 20 points now. So honestly, my recommendation is to just suck it up and take, even if it's just one 20-point hit and you've dropped those 3 players for this game week to get yourself back on track. It's better than doing that. It's better doing that than derailing your entire season. So there we go. As ever, hit that like and subscribe button and follow us on your favourite social media channel. And I look forward to bringing you an awful lot of videos over the next week as we look forward to the start of the Six Nations campaign as well. All the best, guys, and stay safe.